So welcome to your meditation practice. So we're also on Zoom and we are on Facebook Live. So welcome to the Facebook Live audience. This is a 1 hour session. So thank you so much for joining, or however much you're able to join. Thank you so much. So I was thinking today we're going to start with our motivation and some concentration. I'd like to do more in the second half, Tomlin Meditation right now. There's a lot of people suffering around the planet, and a lot of people ask me, what is best to do? What can I do for them? How can I help? And I just find this is where I turn when I need additional help with people or persons like that. So once again, and thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Land of Medicine Buddha, for hosting. Thank you for all of you for showing up. Please take a moment wherever you are to find that comfortable position for your body and allow your body to settle into this position. And the main part of it is to have your spine as extended as possible, as you know. So I think most of you are familiar with the meditation posture. The main part is to be comfortable, to be alert. That can lightly close your eyes. And we are going to bring the gaze internal right now, focusing a bit more inward and allowing the distractions of your day to float away like bubbles as you begin to deepen your respiration. If you like, with every inhalation, feel free to bring in some positive aspect you would like. Thinking, for instance, bringing joy into the heart and mind. Every exhalation, release something that is not benefiting you right now. Perhaps releasing fear. So putting that into your own words, your own experiences. And think about your purpose right now for wanting to meditate, attending a meditation session, how meditation lends a fantastic balance to life and also allows us to get to know our minds better. The better we get to know our minds, we're able to clear out unhealthy patterns and enhance all the positive qualities, because there are many positive qualities about your mind and about yourself. And sometimes we're unable to focus on those. Meditation brings that balance. We have things to work on, and we're actually good enough. So think about your purpose for showing up right now and taking a moment to set a positive intention. And this is about us directing our mind in the most positive way for this time together and all the activities of the rest of your day. Please take a moment and set that motivation. In this tradition, we're also focused on benefiting all living beings. So by balancing your own mind, that helps you be a more positive presence in the world. And think about all the beings you can touch with that more balanced presence. And imagine reaching a place where you're unlimited in helping all living beings because your mind is fully expanded and omniscient. So take a moment to just breathe that in if that's something you'd also like to direct yourselves toward. So again, for the purpose of benefiting all living beings, that real underlying motivation is why we'll do this meditation. So let's clear out some of the channels that might be a bit clogged, a bit cloudy right now. And we begin with the 9-round breathing, starting with closing off the right nostril, and we're exhaling deeply through the left. Then we switch and close off the left nostril as we inhale deeply through the right. And as you do this, imagine you're lessening anger and hostility in your mind 3 times. The second round, we reverse. We close off the left nostril, exhale deeply through the right. Then you close off the right nostril, inhaling deeply through the left. With this process, imagine you are lessening attachment and desire in your mind 3 times. Our last round, we're exhaling deeply through both nostrils, inhaling deeply through both nostrils, lessening confusion and ignorance in our mind 3 times. And allow your mind now to settle on your breath, on a normal, natural breath. You may focus on the space just outside the nostrils where the air enters in and leaves the body. Can you keep all of your concentration there? And notice if the mind wanders, it's very normal. Don't give up. Don't get down on yourself that you can't meditate. This is part of meditation. This is how it works to train our mind. So we are exercising our mind now. And you know what it's like when you exercise. You have to train slowly, and then the muscles adapt. Same with our mind. So just become aware your mind is off the breath. When you become aware, gently, without any further story, You bring your mind back to the breath. Five minutes. So just feel the calming effect, even though you may notice your mind is busy and distracted. It's very normal. We're so used to every moment being engaged with something, our phones, tablets, devices, streaming this or that, working, family members. So many things and activities are swimming around us. It's very normal. So we're not used to being still. It can be unnerving in the beginning when we meditate, or we find we're not very good at concentrating. No problem. That's what we're working on. So we're going to do another 5 minutes. Then we're going to do 10 minutes. So you can remain focused on the breath if you like. You can choose another object on which to meditate. It could be a visual object like an image of the Buddha, visual object of an apple. You can meditate, as we've done before, the golden drop of light here at the tip of your nostrils. Tiny golden drop of light. Whichever you like, stay with one object for these two segments, a 5-minute segment, 10-minute segment. Then you can stretch and adjust after that, before the next meditations. So again, allowing yourself as you focus on your object, and it's not something you're looking at, you can look at a picture, okay, but then close your eyes and bring the object to mind. You're concentrating from your mind's side, getting the mind to create that concentration, not from the object side. So it doesn't matter what object you're focused on. Don't obsess about the object. Just choose something, close your eyes, bring it to mind. And if it's an image of the Buddha, which is uplifting for the mind, leaves an uplifting imprint on the mind, it may be detailed at first. So maybe you just focus on the eyes or the face, knowing the whole image is there. Try your best. And again, you are following that track, that thread of concentration on your object, absorbing your object. Sorry, absorbing your mind into the object is what you want to do. You're really absorbing your mind into the object so that you're on the object. No distraction will pull you off. But when it does, because it's normal, you recognize back to the object. Slowly building concentration. Okay. So take a moment right now, set your object in your mind, close your eyes, and think for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to keep my mind on this object. So that determination helps us, grounds us on the object without my mind wandering. Try your best. Please begin. Please relax your mind for a moment. You can take it off the object, open your eyes. So in the next 10 minutes, the next segment, as some of you are more experienced, I thought we'd do a longer segment, but some of you are newer, no problem at all. So in that 10-minute segment, you're welcome to break it into 2 5-minute segments. You just estimate the time. It's perfectly fine. You don't need to keep looking at your watch, or it's a minute shorter, a minute longer. But if you want to try 10 minutes, but your mind loses the object more than 3 times, then just rest your mind for a moment. Take it off the object, and just as you're sitting there without much moving around, open your eyes. Give yourself 10 or 20 seconds. Just look around the room in the same position, and then get clear on your object. Close your eyes again. Determine in your mind, this is what I'm doing now. I am going to stay on this object without my mind wandering. And you begin again for the remainder of the segment. And you just try your best. So once again, getting clear on the object you're meditating on, absorbing your mind in as best as you can with another part of your mind while you're holding the object with your mind. Another part of your mind is checking how clear the visualization is, and you're sharpening the intensity of that visualization as best as you can. So you try your best. Just thinking for the next 5 or 10 minutes, this is what I'm doing. Keeping my mind on that thread of concentration on my object without distracting as much as possible. Please begin. Please relax. Slowly open your eyes. And if you'd like, just adjust your position or stretch your legs. So sometimes if we're trying to work on concentration and you're noticing your mind just going off into different stories, and you're following the stories instead, it's very normal that we do that. It's very normal. We're used to having a scattered mind, losing our object. What happens with more concentration is even in everyday activities, we become more focused, more mindful through working on concentration. So don't give up if you're noticing you're just following a story and thinking about the last movie you streamed and you're just letting the minutes elapse from the session because it's easier. It's easier. We're not used to being still and concentrated. But slowly you can turn your mind back to the object. Return your mind back. That's meditation, bringing my mind back. It's a type of meditation, placement meditation. I'm placing my mind back on the object like that. You try your best. So we're going to go into a different type of meditation, Tomlin Meditation. It's a word that means giving and taking, giving and taking. And actually what we're first doing is taking. And what we're taking is suffering from other living beings. Now, we're not really interested in suffering. Nobody is. Nobody wants to suffer. But what we're doing is as you're inhaling and imagining you're taking in the suffering in whatever form that represents, whether it's colored light rays, whether it's images that bring up suffering for you, like war and words like racism and hatred and poverty and people suffering and animals that can kill you and plants that are poisonous and images like that. So you're inhaling those, but it doesn't harm you. Just imagine you've got a constricted knot of all of your self-cherishing or selfishness at your heart center. Okay. And what it does is it goes there and diminishes and diminishes, diminishes all your self-absorption, all that self-cherishing, because that's a source of immense suffering for you. Okay, so it's not harming you, it's just harming that seed of self-cherishing, that knot, that constricted knot at your heart. Okay, and it forms again and again, and we keep purifying by taking that suffering from others. As you purify that knot, okay, you're more blissful, happier, lighter. Okay, let's offer that as we exhale to all the beings that we're going to focus on. We offer that to all of them. So many people not ever experiencing happiness in their lives. So let's give it to them. We have a lot of happiness. We're here right now. That means you have electricity, you have internet, you have some device to watch this on. That means you probably have a pretty good situation on the planet. Not that it's perfect, not that you don't have problems. Okay, let's offer all the good things we have to all these other beings. So let's start with a visualization first of yourself in the space in front of you. So close your eyes. Just imagine seated across from you is an exact replica of yourself facing you. So there are variations on this meditation. And a lot of people leave out yourself in this process. We're very, very hard on ourselves often. So imagine the image of yourself across from you. And just take a moment to reflect on the ways you suffer and how amazing it would be if you didn't have that suffering. And from that space of really wishing to relieve yourself of suffering, that huge heart of compassion, imagine as you inhale Every time you inhale, you're taking that suffering from that front visualization of yourself, and you seated here in your space. That suffering goes in your right nostril, goes right to that constricted knot of self cherishing at your core, dissolving it. And if you'd like to just practice first with the taking, so every time you inhale, we're just taking. Don't worry about the exhalation. Just imagine releasing that front visualization of yourself from any suffering. And you breathe it in, let it diminish that self-cherishing at your core. Because you're releasing yourself from that constricted knot, diminishing that a bit, you're freer and happier. And as you exhale now, let's focus on the giving. As you exhale, out your left nostril comes whatever signs of happiness, bliss, peace that you can imagine that goes over to the front visualization of yourself, enters them through their right nostril, bringing them this deep sense of happiness and peace. You could visualize light rays that represent that to you. You could visualize words like happiness and joy, images, things like that. Beautiful sunsets, all the love you experience from your friends and family, all the good fortunes, you can offer that. So let's just focus on the giving. Breathing out your left nostril, offering to that front visualization of yourself as it enters through the right nostril there, bringing that deep sense of happiness and joy. And you can do the taking and giving together. So you're inhaling out of the left nostril of your front visualization comes all the suffering. You breathe in through your right nostril, let it diminish your self-cherishing at your heart, and then you offer out your left nostrils. You exhale. The front visualization entering them through the right nostril, all the happiness and bliss. If you get confused with the nostrils, just when you inhale, take their suffering. When you exhale, offer the happiness. So let's add to the visualization and just taking our mind off of ourselves right now, but leaving that front visualization there. Imagine now to your right and left are your family members seated beside you, even if they've passed away. So do this Tomlin meditation with your family members in mind right now, taking their suffering as you inhale, letting it chip away at your self-cherishing, and as you exhale, offering them all your happiness and joy. And imagine it bringing them this deep sense of happiness and bliss. And imagine now taking the focus off of your family, but leaving them there. Behind you are friends and colleagues that you like, seated in a semicircle. Take a moment and just imagine these beings. You can do the Tonglen practice just focused on these friends, colleagues, people we like, taking their suffering, letting it chip away at your self-cherishing at your core, and offering all your happiness. And leaving those friends and colleagues there, imagine now in the space in front of you, to one side of the front visualization of yourself, place someone who is challenging for you. You may label them enemy, or that may be too strong, but we certainly have some challenging people in our lives, and have them seated there facing you. And look at them for a moment. And just notice the feelings that arise in relation to this person. Think about how they suffer, which may keep them in that category. So imagine relieving them of the suffering, bringing them happiness, and do this Tonglen practice now, just focused on this challenging person. And then leaving that challenging person right there, let's focus to the other side of the front visualization of ourselves. Place somebody you might label a stranger. So you may know their first name, somebody from the local shop, somebody at your workplace, but you don't know much about them. Could be a neighbor. You don't have an opinion about them one way or another. Let's do this Tomlin practice now, just focused on this stranger. Let's think about all these beings now together. Front visualization of yourself, your family to your sides, friends and colleagues in a semicircle behind you, enemy and stranger. And do this Tomlin practice now with all of them in mind, as best as you can. And if you'd like to, just add in the rest of the space filled with all living beings, as much as your mind can expand to, thinking about the planet, all the beings suffering, all the beings affected by COVID, and all the other diseases, hostilities, all of that, all those beings. And it's big, but we can take their suffering, using it to diminish our self cherishing, all for the happiness. So even though we know there's still suffering on the planet, this is our contribution we can make, working with our minds and hearts. We create ripples from this experience, all of us together, wherever we are now on the planet. Those ripples of positivity will go out into the world. And that's our small contribution to changing the world for the better. So slowly allow all the other beings to slowly dissolve back into the space from where they came, a little bit more relieved of suffering, happier, more peaceful, just leaving you with the front visualization of yourself across from you. Let's send these wishes right now to yourself in a practice of loving kindness. Just look across at yourself, just thinking, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. May loving kindness manifest throughout your life. Because you deserve that. As you look across at yourself, acknowledge that front visualization in any way you'd like before we let them dissolve back into the space. Just let them go, dissolving back into the space, leaving you now in your space wherever you are sitting. Let's send these wishes now to ourselves. Just thinking, may I be happy. Breathe that in. May I be healthy. Let it touch every cell. May I be free from suffering. May loving kindness manifest throughout my life. And in conclusion, may any benefit, any merit we've created from doing this practice help us to be calmer, clearer, to really have that heart of compassion for ourselves and all living beings as much as we can on our path to enlightenment, to awakening, so we can benefit all living beings. Please relax. Slowly open your eyes.